Hey guys, it's Ethan from Zimmer Labs, and I'm back with my second video of the day. This actually should have been my third video of the day, but video 2 got kind of the kibosh right in the middle of it. Kind of funny story, I had the full get up on, and right when I had finished putting it on, which as some of you may know, it's a bit of an undertaking to get it on looking exactly right and, you know, lined up and perfect. Right when I did, had the camera all set up and everything else, somebody, I'm not naming any names, opened the back door and left it open, and the 6-month-old puppy took off. So there's me, 5:30-ish, rush hour traffic, in my townhouse community, running around at full speed in a Stormtrooper outfit, screaming at the top of my lungs to try to get the dog to come back and not get run over by a car. So anyways, hopefully I will tackle that video tomorrow. Apologize, but if only that had been recorded, it would have been priceless. But what we have here is kind of part one to that video. This is the Anovos Premier line First Order Stormtrooper helmet. It is my upgrade version. It is not cosmetically upgraded really at all. I polished it to give it a little bit of an extra shine, but that's really all I did as far as looks goes. But that's because this is the Premier line. Anovos makes nice products. You don't need to do much to the looks of them. If anything, they really make a nice product. The standard line is a different story. The standard line is it's just a whole different level of quality, step down. Not that they're poor quality, it's a whole different animal. This is a fiberglass helmet, whereas the standard line is a plastic helmet. And while that may not mean a lot to you, all of you guys, the best way to think about it is, if you ever wore a batting helmet playing Little League, remember they were very light plastic helmets. Compare and contrast that with a motorcycle helmet. Put a motorcycle helmet on, it's 3, 4, 5 pounds, it's thick, it's solid. It's probably also made of plastic or fiberglass, but it's way different. It's much thicker, it's much heavier, it's much more heavy duty, and it's not flimsy, it doesn't bend. It's nothing like a batting helmet that you would wear. So that's a good comparison to Anovos' Premier versus Standard lines. And actually, I've got a couple pictures for you guys. Bear with me here for just a moment. That's a picture of the inside of the Standard line of this First Order Trooper helmet. And as you can see, it's very, very plain, just white plastic with some little vent holes. Little piece of plastic, and then a relatively so-so suspension in there to mount it to your head, whereas that's the inside of this guy. And it is hard to see, but it is, this whole black section here is a really thin felt padding. And then around the edge here is a black rubber gasket. Let's see. This is the Premier line Kylo Ren Anovos helmet on the inside. So again, you see the whole thing is lined with a really nice black, thin but nice black lining on the inside, as opposed to plastic helmet with cheap plastic suspension, no lining. So that's a good way to kind of distinguish, if those of you guys who don't really know the difference between the two lines that Anovos sells. Standard lines, the helmets run at anywhere from $150 to $250, whereas the Premier stuff runs anywhere from $400 to $1,000. So it's at least double the price to get the Premier version, but it's a real life helmet as opposed to a plastic replica helmet. So it depends what you're looking for, which one makes more sense for you. The only thing that, well, I'll get to the only thing in a bit, but let's dive into the custom First Order Trooper helmet that I want to show you guys. So, to begin with, it's just a really beautiful helmet. I'd say it weighs in around 3.5 pounds, 4 pounds maybe. Nice black blown glass or blown plexi, Lexan, something like that for the visor. A lot of metal elements woven in here, more metal down here for this respirator. Now, inside is where I did my work on this guy, and hopefully you guys can see it because everything's black in here, so it may be a little difficult to see, but hopefully it's coming through. As you can see, there's a whole system of custom-made padding. I guess it's a custom padding system to fit your head, to fit the helmet snugly to your head. And the reason I opted to go this route rather than my usual Jackson Safety hard hat suspension is because, as you can see, everything has this felt lining in it, and there really isn't a good way to mount a hard hat suspension with the felt lining there. And even if you pull the felt lining out, which you can do, then you just have rough fiberglass there, so it's not really conducive to mounting a suspension. But you can achieve a good fit with a good padding system. And I'll just show you guys quickly here. This padding system that I did for it is all Velcro. So you can take these pads out and rearrange them to your heart's content, depending on how well-shaped or misshapen your head may be. You might have a cone head, or a light bulb dome, or a pin head. I've got a cone head, so I'm not ragging on anyone. This, in fact, just pro tip real quick, this is cone head configuration. I set this configuration up because it works great for my head. Like a little extra room back here. I must have a bigger brain or something because I got a cone back there. But at any rate, so you've got lots of different elements that are all interchangeable and can be removed and replaced all around to your heart's content. And there's actually 5 or 6 more of these custom pieces that I made that can be used and added into this. So if you have a really small head, you can add additional padding to, to secure it. So no matter who you are, what your head is like, shaped, size, width, whatever, girth, this helmet's gonna fit with this padding system. Next up, you'll notice the microphone right here, and what I tried to do is really focus on keeping the look of the electronics minimal on this guy. I didn't want a lot of obtrusive stuff going on. I didn't want everything to be really visible, so I did my best to hide everything behind the velvet padding or lining or whatever. So you've got your microphone here with a stainless steel flexi cable running underneath the velvet padding, running into your voice modulator box, and over here is your main power switch and recharge port, as per usual. With this guy, this is a different voice modulator setup than I've been using. I'm probably leaning towards going with this one in the future just because it gives you a bit more options. There are 8 different voice modulation schemes that you can use with this, and there isn't any of the silly like clapping, push button laughing, or crow sound effects that the other ones seem to come with. I mean, God only knows what you would do with those, but you've got 8 options here, so you can really kind of tweak it and get it to do what you want it to do, and have fun with the other settings that are totally unrelated to Stormtroopers. But the very first one is original sound. That's what I've got it set on, and what I did was install a lithium battery and digital amplifier in this section, and 2 thin, low-profile speakers beneath these two grates, and then I cranked up the distortion really as much as I could without overdoing it to give the helmet the sound effect that I was looking for. Because there isn't a, with Kylo Ren helmets, it's pretty easy to find a, quote, monster voice or manly voice or whatever to really give you that depth and evil voice modulation that you're looking for. But with the Stormtrooper, it's real simple. You just want to have it kind of crackly and distorted, a la what your voice sounds like coming over a radio. And that's not something I've seen anywhere, so I had to kind of make that myself. But luckily it's pretty easy. You just turn all the gains to 11, a la Spinal Tap. I didn't bridge the amp on this, but I ran both channels through. I ran both speakers are connected to one channel, and I ran them through both channels of the amplifier consecutively with the volumes turned up to really crank the distortion. That seemed to give me the best results. And then I left the volume on this guy way down because you don't need it. But it gives you a good quality of distorted sound. So I'll just don the cap real quick and let you guys hear what it sounds like. Alright, there we go. What do I want to say? I can't remember. How long have you had these droids, sir? We're going to need to see some identification. We're not going to need to see his identification. These aren't the droids we're looking for. Roger that. Rebel troops spotted, sir. Up ahead on the ridgeline. You guys get the idea. You can, mess with it, have fun with it, however you like. Kind of tweaking the pitch of your voice, but at the end of the day, it just comes out sounding like a distorted, your voice over the radio sound. And that's really all you're looking for when you're doing a Stormtrooper helmet mod. You don't need to change your voice otherwise. As I said, you can. This guy will do all sorts of fun stuff. Let me see here. I'll show you guys real quick what else it'll do. This is called Magic Sound. Hello. Hello. So it's kind of echo chamber, I guess. Next up, we've got Germination. These aren't the droids we're looking for. That's kind of more of an echo chamber. Next up is called Female. These aren't the droids we're looking for. Not bad. Next one is called Male to Female. I guess that's different from female because it's male to female? I'm not really sure. These aren't the droids we're looking for. So to me, that's Alvin and the Chipmunk's voice. It's pretty good. If you want to really mess with somebody's head, put your full Stormtrooper outfit on, slap this helmet on, show up at 3 a.m., kick the door in and go, "These aren't the droids we're looking for! Get out of bed!" And that's guaranteed to really annoy people. Next up we got Female Change. We don't need to see his papers. These aren't the droids we're looking for. So this is more of a manly voice. It's similar to the Kylo Ren voice that my other electronics give ya, but it's a little on the lighter side. The next one is called Lolly. I'm kind of hesitant to even guess what this is going to sound like. Lolly? Okay, so it's a baby voice. These aren't the droids we're looking for, sir. Yep, okay, so that's fun. Got a baby voice, and then the last one, of course, is called Baby Voice. So, I don't know how this is going to differ, but... These aren't the droids we're looking for, sir. Alright, so it's just even more high-pitched, but you guys get the idea. So you got 8 different sounds to toggle through, but you know, distortion is key. Keep it simple, but make it distorted.
Roger that, sir. Death Star approaching, sir. The Death Star ray is prepared to fire in 5 seconds, sir. Roger.
And that's really all you need to do for a good Stormtrooper sound effect. Just, you know, some distorted, what your voice sounds like if it's coming over a walkie-talkie or something. So that's pretty much this guy in a nutshell. This is not one of the more complicated things that I've done. I think probably in the next one, the version 2 that I do of this, which hopefully I will do, the next main change that I will endeavor is to replace the Lexan or the plexiglass visor. The visibility through this is good. It's not great. And if you are into trooping, you know, if you've got the full Stormtrooper gear and you're into trooping and you do it for hours and hours and hours on end, you want to have good visibility. And to be honest, a couple of fans in here I've seen done on the internet. Terrific idea. So my V2 will definitely incorporate a couple small fans just to keep the air moving and circulating in here, because this could get pretty warm in here, especially with the padding and the felt lining. On a standard line helmet, probably wouldn't worry about the overheating so much because it's just thin plastic, but this is, like I said, this is a real helmet, so it's pretty well insulated, it's pretty warm, and it's going to keep your heat and your moisture in there. And if you're in Southern California or, you know, Arizona trooping, you're going to need some air conditioning on your dome if you're going to be wearing this thing for hours and hours a day. So hopefully the V2 will incorporate that, and maybe some, I don't know, Oakley or Maui Jim caliber optics to really kick up the visibility a notch. But for the V1, this was my first attempt. I really wanted to just keep it simple while at the same time doing a really clean, hyper ultra clean install on this and make it as functional as possible. So thank you guys, as always, for watching. Stay tuned. We've got lots more to come.